using depth of field calculators to plan your shots. Have you ever wondered how photographers capture those stunning images of birds, where the subject pops against a beautifully blurred background? The secret often lies in controlling the depth of field. Depth of field refers to the area in a photograph that appears sharp. Understanding how to manipulate this can help you isolate your bird subjects from distracting backgrounds or ensure the entire bird is in focus. Let's break down the basics. Depth of field is influenced by three main factors: the aperture, the focal length of the lens, and the distance from the camera to the subject. A lower f-stop number, like f/.8, means a larger aperture opening, resulting in a shallower depth of field. This is great for blurring backgrounds. On the other hand, a higher f-stop number, like f/16, gives you a smaller aperture opening, leading to a deeper depth of field, which is useful for capturing more detail throughout the scene. Now let's talk about focal length. Shorter focal lengths, such as wide-angle lenses, provide a deeper depth of field. In contrast, longer focal lengths, like telephoto lenses, create a shallower depth of field. This is where depth of field calculators come into play. These handy tools help photographers determine the optimal camera settings for their desired depth of field. To use a depth of field calculator, you will need to input a few parameters. First, specify your camera model or sensor size, as different sensors affect depth of field. Next, enter the focal length of the lens you are using. Then, input the aperture setting, which is the opening size of your lens. Finally, include the focus distance, or how far away your subject is from the camera. When it comes to bird photography, using depth of field effectively can make a big difference. For instance, if you want to isolate a single bird, use a wide aperture with a telephoto lens. This will blur the background and draw attention to your subject. However, if you are photographing a flock of birds, consider using a smaller aperture. This will help ensure that more birds are in focus, especially if they are spread out. Another technique to consider is the hyperfocal distance. By setting your focus to the hyperfocal distance, you can ensure that everything from half that distance to infinity is in focus. This is particularly useful for capturing birds in flight or when you want the entire environment sharp. As you practice, anticipate bird behavior. Knowing where a bird is likely to move allows you to pre-focus and adjust your depth of field settings accordingly. Experiment with different apertures and focal lengths to see how they affect your images. By mastering depth of field and utilizing calculators to plan your shots, you can create stunning bird photographs that capture the beauty of these creatures in their natural habitats.